Let me ask you something. What would you do if your husband looked you dead in the eye and told you to cook Thanksgiving dinner by yourself? No help. Just you in the kitchen while his entire family sits back and does nothing. Can you imagine that? Can you feel the weight of that demand pressing down on your chest right now? This isn't just a story about a woman who got tired. It's about what happens when you finally say enough. A wife, hardworking, loyal, and exhausted, was treated like a machine by the people who were supposed to love her most. But the day she decided to value herself, that's the day everything changed. I want you to stay with me because what happened next didn't just shock her husband. It shook his entire family to their core. And before we dive in, my friends, I need to ask you one thing. If this story speaks to your heart, if it reminds you that you deserve respect, please hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel. Because together, we're not just watching stories. We're learning to stand up for ourselves. Her name was Sarah Dawson. At 34 years old, she had been married to Mark Dawson for 8 years. They lived with Mark's family in the Dawson family home, the same house where Mark grew up. It was supposed to be temporary, just until they saved enough for their own place. Mark had said that 8 years ago, but they never left. And in that house, Sarah had become the maid. Every morning, Sarah woke up at 5:30 a.m. She cooked breakfast for the entire household. Mark, his mother Helen, his 2 sisters, Anna and Lily, and his younger brother Tom. She cleaned the kitchen. She did everyone's laundry. She scrubbed the bathrooms. She mopped the floors. She cooked lunch. She cooked dinner. And what did the rest of them do? Helen sat in the living room watching her favorite TV shows. Anna spent hours on her phone. Lily went shopping. Tom played video games. Mark went to work and came home expecting everything to be done. Sarah never complained. She thought if she worked hard enough, they'd appreciate her. They'd see her value. But appreciation never came. Instead, Helen would say things like, "Sarah, you missed a spot on the floor. Do it again." And Mark, he never defended her. He just said, "That's how they are. Don't take it personally." Sarah carried that house on her shoulders. And no one even noticed. Thanksgiving was the Dawson family's biggest annual celebration where over 100 friends, relatives, and well-wishers came to thank God with the family. This year, they were expecting the same number. The night before, the caterers canceled due to an emergency. With 100 guests expected, the family quickly decided that Sarah would cook. Mark said her cooking was decent and that she should handle it. Sarah protested, saying others would help, but Anna provided an excuse. She had to manage the seating chart and decorations. Mark shouted at Sarah, telling her not to be dramatic and not to mess things up, claiming it was just cooking. Sarah, overwhelmed, thought, "How do they expect only me to cook? It's not possible." Sarah felt something inside her crack. "Fine," she said quietly. Everyone smiled, relieved. But Sarah wasn't agreeing to cook. She was agreeing to something else entirely. That night, Sarah went to her room and pulled out her laptop. She did the math. 10 turkeys needed at least 4 hours each to cook. Prep time for all the sides, hours. Cooking everything, more hours. She'd have to start at 2 a.m. and work nonstop until guests arrived at 3 p.m. 13 hours of cooking alone. Sarah stared at her screen and made a decision. She searched for flights. Last-minute tickets were expensive, but she didn't care. She found one leaving at 6 a.m. to Hawaii. She booked it. Then she opened a document and started typing. The next morning, Thanksgiving Day, Sarah woke up at 4 a.m. She got dressed quietly. Mark was still sleeping. She grabbed her small suitcase that she'd packed the night before. She went downstairs to the kitchen. It was dark and empty. The frozen turkeys sat in the freezer untouched. Sarah pulled out a piece of paper and wrote, "Dear Dawson family, I calculated how long it would take me to cook Thanksgiving dinner for 100 people alone. 13 hours starting at 2 a.m. nonstop. I also calculated something else. How long it's been since anyone in this house said, 'Thank you for the meals I cook every single day.' I'm still counting. The turkeys are in the freezer. Recipes are in the drawer. Ingredients are in the pantry. I'm sure Helen, with all her years of experience, can handle it. And Anna, Lily, Tom, and Mark, I am confident you all pitch in since we re-family and we all contribute. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Don't wait up, Sarah." She placed the note on the kitchen counter where they'd see it. Then she walked out the front door and left for the airport. By the time the Dawson family woke up, Sarah was 30,000 feet in the air, sipping orange juice and smiling. Back at the Dawson house, chaos was brewing. Helen woke up at 9 a.m. and went downstairs expecting to smell turkey cooking. Instead, the kitchen was silent, empty, cold. "Sarah?" Helen shouted. No answer. Mark came downstairs confused. "What's wrong? Where is Sarah?" The guests arrived in 6 hours, and nothing was cooked. They searched the house. Sarah's room was gone. Her phone went straight to voicemail. Then Mark saw the note on the counter. His hands shook as he read it. His face went pale. "Mom," he said quietly. "She's gone." "What?" Helen snatched the note from him and read it. Her face turned red, then white, then red again. Anna and Lily came running. "What's happening?" Sarah left. Helen screamed. "She left us with no food and 100 people coming." Helen tried calling Sarah 15 times. Voicemail, voicemail, voicemail. Mark tried texting. No response. Then Mark's phone buzzed. A message from Sarah. It was a photo. Sarah on a beach. White sand, blue water, palm trees swaying. She was sitting at a beautiful outdoor restaurant table. In front of her was a perfectly cooked turkey dinner. Golden brown turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce, sweet potatoes, everything. She was holding a tropical drink, smiling at the camera. The text said, "Happy Thanksgiving from Beach Turkey Palm. The turkeys are in the freezer. Tell Helen to season them real nice, just like this one I'm eating. Enjoy your day." Mark felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. Panic set in. At 3 p.m., guests started arriving. Aunts, uncles, cousins, neighbors, church members, Mark's coworkers, everyone dressed up, excited, hungry. "Where's the food?" someone asked. Helen smiled tightly. "It's coming." But it wasn't coming. By 4 p.m., people were restless. Children were crying, stomachs were growling. "Where is Sarah?" Mark's aunt asked. "She always has everything ready." "She's not feeling well," Mark lied. By 5 p.m., people started leaving disappointed, shouting that they came for Thanksgiving and the family couldn't even offer them anything. Helen was utterly ashamed. 2 weeks later, Sarah came home. She walked into the Dawson house tanned, relaxed, glowing. Sarah set her suitcase down and smiled brightly. "How was Thanksgiving? Did everyone enjoy the dinner?" Silence. "Did the turkeys turn out okay?" "I hope Helen's seasoning was as good as the one I had in Hawaii." "Mine was amazing." They wanted to shout at her as usual, but Sarah fired back this time. "Let me make something very clear," she began. "I am not a maid. I am not a servant. I am not a machine. I am a human being, and I will never be treated like that again." Helen started. "Sarah, I'm not finished," Sarah said sharply. "What happened at Thanksgiving was the last time I will ever do everything alone in this house. From now on, everyone contributes equally." "What do you mean?" Anna asked nervously. "I mean," Sarah said, "every single morning, we all wake up and pick chores. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, everything gets divided equally." "But I work," Mark protested. "So do I," Sarah shot back. "I work 24/7 in this house. That ends now. We all work or I leave permanently." The room was silent. She looked at the whole family. "This is the new normal. If you can't accept it, I'll pack my things and leave. I've learned something important. I don't need people who don't value me." Mark stood up, his voice cracking. "Sarah, I'm sorry I failed you. I should have protected you. I should have stood up for you. I took you for granted. Please give me a chance to be better." Sarah looked at her husband. She saw genuine remorse. "Actions," she said, "not words, show me." The next morning, everyone woke up early. The next Thanksgiving came around. On Thanksgiving morning, the entire family showed up in the kitchen. By 2 p.m., the kitchen smelled amazing. By 3 p.m., the table was set beautifully. When guests arrived, the food was perfect. And for the first time in years, Sarah sat at that table feeling like a valued member of the family instead of hired help. The Bible says in Matthew 20 verse 28, "Even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve." But that doesn't mean you let people turn you into a slave. Service without respect becomes exploitation. Love without boundaries becomes neglect. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be appreciated. You deserve rest. What would you have done in Sarah's position? Would you have stayed and cooked alone? Or would you have booked that flight to paradise? Let me know in the comments below. And if this story reminded you of your worth, please subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear that they're not a machine. They're a human being who deserves respect. You are valuable. You are important. And you don't have to carry everything alone. Stay blessed.